SNAP benefits cut. White America, ESAU, will suffer. Great Depression, Owsley, poorest white county. Want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High YAHAWAH and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone, taught in this truth of the Spirit. Singing honors to the elect. Peace and blessings to the 1/3 and to the confusion faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. How Trump's tax cut and spending mega bill will impact SNAP recipients. That is an article. All right, that's the title. And I'm going to open up with 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 21. This is in the Apocrypha, which is a part of the 1611 King James Version Bible. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. When you go into the word victual, it pretty much means your everyday necessities. So that go not only from your food and what you have to drink, also medication, your gas, after school program for kids, insurance, all things, all aspects of life that you need just for you to properly function in society. Yeah, all that is increasing, but now it's getting worse because dealing with this SNAP program, this is, for instance, in general, people always resort to, oh, you got Ray Rays, that be selling the food stamps from their baby mama, Shaquita. She got about 6 kids from 4 different dudes. Oh, man, they always on food stamps. They always on assistance and things like that. They use us as the poster child, but in contrast, in reality, y'all really the ones that's really on it more. I did a video on it before, a couple years ago, that out of all of the races, Esau get more benefits than everyone. Yes, that is very true. And I'm also going to prove that as well, but let's get to this article. With the House of Representatives holding procedural votes on President DJ Trump's giant tax and immigration bill Wednesday, congressional Democrats and food security nonprofits are calling attention to its potentially drastic changes to the Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program. That's what SNAP stands for. SNAP, S-N-A-P, is an acronym. Like the NFL is an acronym for National Football League, okay? Or MLB is an acronym for Major League Baseball, okay? The Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program that could cost millions of low-income families crucial food assistance in every state. Trump's fiscal bill will mark a massive overhaul of SNAP benefits, putting 40 million recipients, including some of the nation's most vulnerable populations, at greater risk of food insecurity. Remember that part, y'all. The nation's most vulnerable population. But before I proceed, I want to bring this out really quick. All right. Check this out. Now I'm going to present to you with some information about the SNAP. So like it. Forgive me, y'all. That was my phone. So, SNAP food origin. The Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as the Food Stamp Program, originated during the Great Depression era. So, yeah, we're talking about the 1930s, right? Y'all know that movie Rosewood? Okay, so around that time, you really think that we was getting this equal treatment with Esau? But a vast majority of those hangings and lynchings, that came after the Emancipation and Proclamation, because that abolished slavery, and the South didn't like that. All right, there was a lot of uprising, a lot of massacres. You had massacres in Chicago. You had the Devil's Punch Bowl down in Mississippi. Yeah, there was a lot of killings and lynchings of us. The origination of the postcard came from them sending pictures of us being burnt alive, mutilated, castrated, all of that. So during the Great Depression, this SNAP program was for who? for ESAU. Because remember, I did a video about how I did a video on why Jake loved Cadillac so much. Because during the 1910s, you know, the early 1900s and all of that, we wasn't able to use their banks. So Jake would keep their money at home, right? So originally, who was putting money in the walls? Who was putting money in the mattresses? We always did. Hell, my grandma, RIP, she was born in 1927, if I'm not mistaken, 1928. When I would ask her for some change, she would pull out a big purse. First, she'll go to her closet. She'll move some boxes and stuff. She'll pull out this big purse. Inside that big purse, there'll be a little wallet purse women have. Inside that wallet purse, there'll be a plastic bag. Inside that plastic bag, there'll be a change purse. Inside that change purse would be $2. Yes. So we didn't keep our money in the banks. So what happened was when the car industry was going down, they were only selling the whites only. They said, okay, let's open it up to any and everybody. Jake saved Cadillac. And that's why Jake loved Cadillac to this day. And that song came out, Diamond in the back, sunroof talk, leaning in the scene with a gangster lean. Woo. I forgot the name of that song. I mean, who sung it too. It is not Curtis Mayfield. He's not the originator. Forgive me, y'all, for not even remember the dude's name. But anyway, that's a little history. So we had money. So the food stamps came out. We wasn't getting it when it originated. Because remember during that time, y'all, we had Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. Remember the roaring 20s? Think about that movie called Think about that movie called The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio. I love that movie. That is a great freaking movie. But we had money back then. Okay, we had let me see right here, boom, forgive me. We had entrepreneurships, we had theaters, we had businesses, 100 black owned businesses, hotels, restaurants, grocery stores, real estate agencies, and more. All right, remember, I'm talking about the origin of when SNAP came about. It came about the Great Depression. You think we was getting food stamps back then? Hell no. The civil rights didn't come about till 1954. Chicago Black Metropolis. We were thriving. Bronzeville, also known as Chicago's Black Metropolis, was a vibrant center of African American culture, business, and community on the city's south side during the 20th century, particularly from the 1920s to the 1950s. People, you gotta know your history. We wasn't always down and out and poor. We was ruling. We were moving shit. We were movers and shakers. All right. It emerged as a result of the Great Migration, which brought large numbers of black Americans, which would be Judahites from the tribe, from the nation of Israel, forgive me, from the south to the north, seeking a new opportunity and escaping racial oppression. Okay? And there was another one. This information you can look up for yourself. I don't want to read it all. Sweet Auburn, Atlanta. Sweet Auburn is a historic district in Atlanta, Georgia, known for a significant role in African American history and the civil rights movement. It was once a thriving center of black commerce, culture, and community, earning the nickname Sweet Auburn from John Wesley Dobbs for its prosperity and prominence. It's also the birthplace of MLK. All right. So it says on the 1906 Atlanta race riot, Esau was always on our ass, man. They'd never leave us alone. Even when they so-called, I'm telling you, after the Emancipation Proclamation, after they so-called let us go out of freedom, y'all, we had universities in the 1880s, y'all. How the hell people come out of hardcore bondage and then be this intelligent? That's why you constantly oppress a class that you're afraid of. It's like keeping a lion in the cage and feeding them. That's what they're doing to us. We're never free. All right? America's one big backyard for dogs to play in. Dogs, yeah, you can run around and play all you want, but sooner or later, you got to come in. You know, it's a time and a place. You're not free. You just have privilege and opportunities. Anyway, so this just lets you know. This is a little history to go to show you that the origin of snaps was in the Great Depression, but we was ruling then. So when they try to say that we are always on snaps, we always poor, we lazy and this and that, that's just people who always been told a lie and they believe it to be the truth. Now let's get back to this article where it says, putting 40 million recipients, including some of the nation's most vulnerable populations, Remember, the nation's most vulnerable populations at greater risk of food insecurity. So now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to Owsley, Kentucky. Owsley County, Kentucky welfare rate. It has a high poverty rate with over 45% of its population living below the poverty line. But let's see who makes up that population there. Inside Owsley, America's poorest white county, Edomite County. Owsley County's population lives below the government-designated poverty line, including 56.3% of children. Yeah, so who really is on welfare? Who really is it? We'll figure it out. We'll find out right now. Tucked between the tree-spread mountains in southeastern Kentucky, Bonneville is the seat of Owsley County, an almost uniformly white community, Edomite community, and one of the most food stamp dependent counties in the United States. What does John 8:32 say? The truth shall set you free. So when they come in your face, all y'all on food stamps, y'all in the, actually, Owsley County, Kentucky, is predominantly, uniformly, a white county, and it's also one of the most food stamp dependent counties in the United States. You know what Esau gonna say? Because the devil hate the truth. That's a lie. No, that is the truth. But the reason why I'm bringing this up, because Jay, you need to wake up too. Because they're gonna look out for their people. But at the end of the day, this goes back to Jacob's trouble, you know. Let me bring this out real quick. So right here, it says the federally funded program, once known as food stamps, issues electronic benefits that can be used like cash to purchase food. It is run by the USDA Food and Nutrition Service, which administers federal food assistance program. STAPS helps low-income working people, senior citizens, the disabled, and others feed their families. Eligibility and benefit levels are based on household size, income, and other. This is pretty messed. I heard it was another point in this article I read that really upset me. It's gonna affect elderly people. Listen, I know I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I know the Lord's going to come back and put Esau and all you other nations in captivity. But we are compassionate people. I still hate the fact that a war veteran has to be begging for fucking money on the corner. I don't give a damn if it's an Edomite. A man put his life on the line for his family, believing he fighting for the greater cause of humanity when it's really a banker's war. Come back, and now he has to be begging for money. That's some bull jive. But anyhow, even the Lord say, one thing he hate is a man of war that suffer poverty. That's in the Bible. That's in the Bible. A man of war. Why? Why the Lord hates that? Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war. YAHAWAH is his name. Yes, the Lord is all about war too. But anyhow, so the poorest county, the poorest white county, they're so dependent also on what? On food stamps. And Jake, you are too, right? So 2 Ezra 9 and 9 through 10. Then shall they be in pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Especially Shaquita them. And to be honest though, I'm a put up, to play devil's advocate, because I pretty much exposed that Esau really is the ones that's really on really the main ones on food stamp, and that it originated for you from the Great Depression, and we were doing good. I'm not gonna say and make it seem like Jake wasn't in the Great Depression, but they make it seem like that they were, because they were down so bad, like we were down bad with them. Jake always found a way to overcome. We always found a way to overcome. That's why you have to constantly oppress us. Lead Jake to their own and see what happened. You afraid of that? You seen what happened? Black Wall Street, Bronzeville, right? The Black Metropolis, Auburn, Atlanta, Sweet Auburn, right? Anyhow, so let's get back to it. So I'm gonna show a video too. Not I'm gonna upload it after this because I don't want to make this too long. Of a Judahite chick. I want to say she's a Judahite chick, Israelite chick, online talking about some y'all need to lie, get y'all food stamps, yada yada yada, right? And then she made a response video saying that she had got her food stamps cut off. Now she got to pay them back 35,000. So I'm not gonna sit here and point the finger at Esau and laugh and be like, nah, y'all really on food stamps and y'all really need it. You got wicked ass people of my people too who be out here having kids and lying and forging, lies and information so that you can get free supplement that people really need. Yo, I'm gonna say this, man. My mom was on food stamps when I was younger. We literally had the funny money, the colored money. I remember I went into the store to buy something. I tried to get change back. I was embarrassed, but I never forget that. Yeah, we had that, and you know what my mama did? She got us off it and was never on it. She said, I never wanted to raise y'all on that. She said I was on it for a little bit and I got off it, cause I'll never forget it. That time I went to the store to pay for that funny money, gas was $1.07. So you know that was in the '90s because I was a little kid. So you know I ain't lying. But it was never generational. It wasn't something that we was proud of. It wasn't something to be flaunting on the internet. It's just like all these Sukianis and all these women out here being all nasty and flaunting. Yeah, we got hood rats and that's a part of our culture. There's women that we deal with too, but that's something that we never praise and we all flaunting on the red carpet. That's something you'll call after the club if nothing wasn't popping. That's something you'll call her for a late night creep. That wasn't something you never flaunted. That wasn't something you weren't brought home to your mama. Now they out here flaunting themselves all around with their stomachs poking out. I'm going to call wrong. I'm going to call right. I don't care what side it is. You know what I'm saying? But don't make it seem like we out here just always got our hands out and we're always beneficiaries. Nah, man, y'all are on food stamps too. And y'all are going to be suffering too. But Jay, y'all need to wake up. Okay? I'm gonna call it right down in the way it's supposed to be. It said the added cuts to SNAP will mean that millions of Americans won't get the food they need for their families and will result in too many Americans forced to survive rather than thrive. What the hell you think we've been doing here? What the hell you think Jake been doing? All we've been doing is striving and trying to survive. What are you talking about? Oh, this is what here you go right here, y'all. Forgive me. Where it says additionally, the bill will tighten eligibility. Eligibility. Damn, why can't I say that? The bill will tighten eligibility. All right, get right. Raising the work requirement age from this what pissed me off. Raising the work requirement age from 54 to 64 and forcing parents with children older than 6 to meet the work requirement. Now that right there pissed me off. Now I gotta wait 10 more years. Like that's the bullshit right there that makes me want a new heaven and a new earth, man. God dang, man. Freaking devils, man. And guess what? That's not just gonna affect people of my nation, of my people, of my race. That's gonna help. That's gonna affect all elderly people. Shit. I don't give a damn how wicked you are. You still care about your family. You know what I mean? Shit. Anyway, so let me close out with this. Matthew 6, verse 31 through 34. Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for tomorrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. So what's sufficient? You wake up, you're going to have what you need. And if you don't, you still suffice because you're alive. But what's going to be suffice for you that day is the evil to come. Meaning that's never going to stop. Never going to stop. So no should you. So with that being said, I pray you was edifying, fast, stay in the spirit, don't fear, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Kwama inshallah, maflaba ball, shalom.